It's always interesting to me, the news that comes out about an 8-year-old who had beat Grandmaster at chess. Again, I didn't read the article. I just read the headline, the byline at best, and assumed the rest would be the typical type feel-good article. Wow, what an amazing 8-year-old article that we read when we read those headlines. And chess, there's a lot of people who know how to play chess. There's some people online that go to the parks and sort of act like they don't know what they're doing. And of course, it's interesting. And it's usually a girl who ends up beating some guy or whatever the case might be. But it's always interesting to see there is a game around chess. But the game itself is really, for me, I recognize it as a game of memorization. That once I understood how all the pieces moved, it was just a matter of memorizing the limited amounts of ways that they could move. And if I could understand that, I might even be able to create subsets so I didn't have to understand everyone. I could just know that subset was representative of whatever it might be. But again, memorization. And so chess is a game where all the elements are known. At the end of the day, you might be able to use some deceptive strategy in the setup, but if I'm familiar with that strategy, you can't hide it from me. And so for me, chess has been a game of, it's okay. You know what? I don't have any recall, and maybe there is a situation where this is the case, but I've never read of an 8-year-old winning the World Series of Poker. I've never read of an 8-year-old even, I realize that casinos have, age minimums and things along these lines. But you never hear about a child beating someone in poker. This is why I taught my children how to play poker and ignored the game of chess. Not so that they could be an adult when they were young, though a lot of them did. They could beat a lot of adults, let's put it that way. See, poker is a game of probabilities. At the end of the day, you have to make decisions on limited information. You have to understand those information sources. You have to understand what the information means, but there's limited information. In other words, if I'm playing you in poker, I don't know what 2 cards you have. And your whole game typically revolves around you deceiving me. This is poker. Now, while every game is really a game about, most of the time when you become across 2 equal people, then it becomes a game of deception. One person trying to fake out the other person as to whether they're going to do this or not, so that the other team or other person believes it, but yet they're actually going to do something else. Football, the play action pass, right? This is the concept. So every game has an element of deception to it. But poker has these wonderful parallels to life that, for me, taking the time to teach my children how to play poker, I was teaching them how to play the game of life. I was teaching them how to understand probabilities. So in other words, no outcome is guaranteed. I could have a heart attack right now at this moment. Lightning could come through the building. If I was in certain parts of the world, it could be a missile that could come through the building right now. There's no outcome that's guaranteed. So in poker, it's very much this way. You can do everything correctly through the hand, and the other person do everything incorrectly. But because of the chance, the other element of the game of poker that chess doesn't have, because of the chance of the cards, the chance of life, that person could draw out a better hand, even though they do everything wrong, and still win. So at the end of the day, just like poker, life is about probabilities. You want to involve yourself in high probability acts, preferably ethical. There's some great analogies depending on situations that you might be in. There's times in life that I've had a chip in a chair. And if you don't know what this means in poker, it means that you're down to 1 chip, but you still have a seat at the table and an opportunity to actually win. And if you've played poker long enough, you've likely experienced the moment where you got down to a chip in a chair and actually took the game back to winning, when everybody would have bet against you at that point. And there's times in life when that happens. Someone gets down to a chip in a chair. They're still 6 feet up. They're still running. They're still be able to make things happen. And they turn around and they make it a winning hand. Sometimes at work or in other aspects of our life, it's as if someone's bullying us with their fat stacks. And in poker, that means when someone's got a lot of chips and they've got a lot of power, they can make moves with those chips and that power that become intimidating. And you don't want to contest, but you do want to test. You do want to understand, both in poker and life, where those lines are so that you can walk them correctly. So again, there's lots of places where you can draw information from. What's your position at the table? In poker, this is an important piece of information. If you are early, meaning that you're going to bet early in the betting round, you bet differently than if you're late. I heard a great thing the other day about the early bird gets the worm, right? But it's the second mouse that gets the cheese. Again, positioning, right? In both cases, different situation, and those positions played differently. And one, you won when you were first. And the other, you didn't get the cheese when you were first. At the end of the day, my advice to you is rather than focus on outcomes, focus on the behavior that creates high probability outcomes. In other words, oftentimes there's behavior that can be done that will increase your chance of winning. In poker, this most certainly is the case, not playing bad hands or understanding how to play a hand in what position you are on the table. This is all about behavior. And it's the same way in life. The right behavior puts you in a better position, a better, let's say, opportunity, or other people might call luck, to win the hand, to have a higher probability outcome, to have a more probable win with the right behavior and a winning outcome. Again, there are no guaranteed outcomes. There's just probabilities. Remember, we're all stuck in the matrix. It's your job to get yourself out. I hope what we share helps. Have a great day.